sit down. We need to talk about this TD Jakes thing one more time, right? So TD Jakes has come out with a statement basically categorically and unequivocally denying these allegations that he is a power bottom. Those are two names or a name and a phrase that I never thought I'd be using in the same sentence. TD Jakes and power bottom. But lo and behold, this is where we are, okay? Let me ask you this too. Would it make a difference if TD Jakes was a power top and not a power bottom? Is it the bottom thing that's really getting y'all, or it's just the... First, that's a really good question, right? What is it about this that is really getting people riled up? Is it because TD Jakes is a man of the cloth, and because he's a man of the cloth, he shouldn't be indulging in certain proclivities? Is it the deception to preach one word but live another? Is it the power bottom versus power top? Are we out here bottom shaming? Like, is that the problem? What is it exactly about this particular story that makes people feel away, right? Now, listen, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I'm non-religious, I'm agnostic. I don't subscribe to biblical teachings. If that's your jam, then you go for it. But what I'm not a fan of is bullying, right? And this whole TD Jakes thing, to me, feels like bullying. And it also gives those of you who are outside of the rainbow being LGBTQIAP+, what you see happening in an incubator, in a vacuum to TD Jakes is what people who are LGBTQIAP+ have dealt with their entire lives, right? So this is a really great teachable moment for so many people who don't understand the level of vitriol and hate that exists towards the LGBTQ community, right? Because here it is, Bishop TD Jakes isn't even confirmed, right? This is just an allegation. And simply based on an allegation, you guys are throwing this man under the bus. On an allegation, on an unsubstantiated allegation. And by unsubstantiated, I mean I haven't seen a picture, haven't heard a text message. All of these random things that exist or should exist, nothing has materialized. Nothing. There's no foundation to this rumor that I've seen or heard. Now, could TD Jakes, like to, dibble and, dabble here and there? I don't know. More importantly, I don't care. Because I know that what he does in an intimate capacity and who he is are not one and the same, right? I don't really care with who he sleeps with. I just don't. See, some of you are out there weaponizing homophobia and not realizing that it can be a full circle moment, right? Even though you're not of the LGBTQIAP+ ilk, the homophobia that you have put in the world comes right back to you, right? So now you're being scrutinized. When if you don't put that type of energy in the world, if the energy you put into the world is a world where people are good people, we don't really care about their sexuality, we don't care about their gender identity, we don't care about their gender expression, we don't care about that. At the end of the day, we care about your heart, we care about your spirit, we care about your soul, okay? Are those things good? Are those things of quality? Are those things of standard? If that became the barometer in terms of how we treated people and judged people and not necessarily being concerned about who someone else is sleeping with, the world would be a much different place and we wouldn't even be having this conversation, right? Because there's so many levels to this TD Jakes story, right? You have the homophobia, right? And a lot of people who are in the church preach homophobia. Now, a lot of people who preach homophobia are actually homosexual, bisexual, pansexual, transsexual, and they'll still get up there and they'll preach, against who they know that they are, because that's how strong belonging is, wanting to feel a part of something. That's how strong that calling, that innate calling, that intrinsic calling is to some people, that they will preach against themselves, right? Cognitive dissonance on 1,000th degree. So it's really interesting. The homophobia is really interesting to me. The bottom shaming is really interesting to me. The hypocrisy is really interesting to me. There's so many different layers to this story about TD Jakes. And, the most important thing to me is veracity and truth, right? Because people don't even care about the truth anymore. It's unimportant to people. I have watched TikTok, right, over the last couple of days. And there's been primarily 3 trending stories that I've been hearing about. 3, right? TD Jakes, Oprah versus Taraji, TD Jakes, no information. Oprah versus Taraji, people are basing it on body language. And now I keep seeing these stories about Simone Biles and her boyfriend. Now everyone has an opinion on her relationship. If Simone ain't mad, I'm not mad. It's not my relationship, not my business. But my point being is just that people like to stir up mess on these social media networks, and people clamor for it. And it feels to me like, because there isn't anything really juicy or anything really newsworthy, that people begin to sit down and think of, how can we conjure up some momentum on the internet? And they just start making up stories. Because when the Cassie thing was going on, that created the buzz. But you guys know news work goes in a cycle. So the whole Cassie thing, Diddy settled that and killed that, and that moved on. Or so we thought, until this whole TD Jakes thing came back up. And now, because TD Jakes was associated with Diddy, now he's being put under the microscope. But my original point was this, right? Y'all are bored. Y'all need lives. And put yourself in these people's shoes. Celebrity or not, these are real people with real lives, with real feelings. And imagine if it was you in your life. Again, I'm going to tell you guys, one of the reasons why I wear this stupid mask is because I don't want you hoes in my business. Okay? I don't need you knowing who my man is, where I live, how I live, what I do. None of that, right? Because this is what you do. You build people up to tear them down. You want to destroy them. And the last thing I would ever want to be in this world is to be a celebrity. No. Wouldn't want it. Because, I mean, the level of strength that it takes to have your whole personal life under a microscope and have people using it for social media fodder and treating your life as if it is a joke, that is a very complex thing. The only thing Bishop T.D. Jakes is guilty of is taking a picture with Diddy. How many people who are celebrities do not have spiritual leaders, spiritual advisors? I don't find it out of the ordinary that Bishop T.D. Jakes would have a picture with Diddy. It's just not something, to me, that is indicative of him being a power bottom at a party. You have to give me something more than just him standing next to Diddy and taking a picture. You know, because if that picture exists, I need to see the other pictures, if you know what I mean. So anyhow, you guys, comment below, because, you know, as always, I'm curious to know what you think. I don't know. Stop the mess. Let Simone Biles and her man be happy. If he thinks he's a prize, maybe she thinks he's a prize, and maybe they both think each other are prizes. It's not our business. But here goes everyone on the internet trying to destroy their relationship. All you guys who are trying to read Oprah's body language against Taraji, no, Oprah is not perfect, and neither are you. She's a human being. She's made mistakes. I get that part of it. But it doesn't negate all of the good that Oprah has done. And it doesn't mean that you have a license to go out here and start creating drama where there isn't any. And the same thing is true of Bishop T.D. Jakes. Mind your business. Wait for factual information to come out before you start putting this information out here about this man and trying to destroy his life, his business, and his ministry. If you are going to have a problem with Bishop T.D. Jakes, let it be about his ministry. Let it be about the deceptive practices that exist within his ministry. Let it be about the misleading sermons that he preaches. But, you know, like, I can get behind that. But what I can't get behind is people trying to destroy someone's life simply based on a rumor. Bye.